What community do you live in?
Penn North Druid Hill.
Penn North Druid Hill. Speak up.
Penn North Druid Hill.
Penn North Druid Hill. I forgot that fast. How do you feel about the death of Freddie Gray?
I mean, it was a tragedy, but nobody can technically say exactly what happened. So, and the video is just a clip of partial of what happened. So, you can't really technically say what happened. So, I just feel sorry for his family, and he's in a better place now because I wasn't here.
Where were you when everything really kicked off on April 27th? And
standing on my steps.
Standing on your steps? How did you feel when everything started off?
I felt like it could have been prevented.
How do you think it could have been prevented?
If the police would have kept it in a contained area, like up by Montgomery, instead of pushing it down, like, you know, like it's like the farther they pushed it down, the more they got destroyed. I feel like they knew what they was doing. Anybody could say they've seen it happen, whereas though, all right, a person is about to run in this store, you feel me? They already in there, so now you got a radius, you feel me? Surround the radius. Why y'all take and push them down?
Right.
I mean, if they're already in there destroying, if they're already right here destroying, would you rather have this destroyed, or rather have blocks and blocks and blocks and neighborhood after neighborhood and neighborhood destroyed? I mean, I feel like it could have been contained, plus it was kids. Kids is more scared, of course, but y'all gave them too much room to destroy too much.
Now, after all that happened on the 27th of April, their curfew came into effect. How were you affected by the curfew?
I go to Baltimore School of Massage. I take evening classes for skincare, and when I usually get out of school, it's past 10 o'clock, close to 11, 12. I probably don't make it home until 12:30, 1 o'clock. I got locked up coming from school, and I have 3 kids, so I feel like it was technically unnecessary. If the curfew wouldn't have been in place, I probably wouldn't have had to go to court, and I probably wouldn't have a record, and I wouldn't have had to deal with some of the things I had to deal with. But it put me in a predicament where as though I didn't even feel safe to have my kids around this area. So I had to ship them off to their grandmother, their godmother, find a friend, can you take my kids? It made it harder for me. So now I'm like trying to work from the bottom up. I took out of school just because I felt like if I'm still stuck in this predicament, even though the curfew's over, but living in the area, if I'm still stuck in the predicament, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I gotta get away from here. Now they make it seem like you gotta get away from here in order to make it or do something better with yourself.
So you didn't have a record before this, but the curfew and getting arrested actually has turned your life upside down?
I mean, technically not turned it upside down, but I mean, when I go look for a job, I gotta tell them now I got a misdemeanor.
And you didn't have that before, right? So because of the curfew that was in place, now that puts something on your record, and now it's going to affect you going forward.
Yeah.
So
then they say if you expunge it now, if they decide to have a civil case and you know you could possibly get money from it, if you expunge it now, you won't be eligible to be a part of the civil case.
So they're saying that there may be a civil case for all the people that got locked up during curfew. And you're in the catch-22 because if you try to expunge it now, you won't be able to get in the civil case, which may take a few months or even a year or so. That's crazy. So it's been a few weeks since the civil unrest. How do you feel about everything now?
You say North Avenue? The cleanest North Avenue ever been was 2 and 3 days after. And the most drugs was sold within that 2 to 3 days. So the most killings was done within the first 48 hours. Like, honestly, it can be unrest all day long. To me, people say it's over. I don't think it's over. It's still here. People still doing what they want to. It's still a drug traffic area. I mean, only thing that's fucked up now is people can't get their drugs from out of CVS, and you know, Ace Cash Checking is closed down. A lot of stores are shut down or damaged or starting from the bottom. A lot of places that people can't go. So I mean, the word that I want you to realize that I keep saying is can't, because that's what this is. It's a can't-do area. And if people was really to stay like they were supposed to, I feel like this could have been a can-do area. And I feel like everybody that was around here was just here for publicity, cameras, or photos. And that's sad, because then y'all left the area still like this.
You mentioned earlier that you feel like you have to send your kids elsewhere. Is that related to how you feel this area is a can't-do area?
Yeah, I mean, they starting to do new things, of course, but I live on North Avenue. Who would want to stay?
What do you think it would take for this community to turn around?
It would have to take a whole community effort, not a partial. I just was saying to somebody else, for every one good person, there's 5 bad people. And then for every one good person that do right, there's 5 bad people that's doing bad to them. So until you get everybody on the same page, you can't do too much. They say divided we fall and united we stand. And technically, ain't no unity up here. It's me, you, her, him. I want this, I'm gonna take control of that. Oh no, he not gonna do that, I'm gonna hurt that. And then that's how you get this.
Have your children been impacted by everything that happened?
My kids have been impacted because I had to separate them. And then they don't really understand because they are young. So for me to sit and explain to them that they still not gonna understand, I just have to, you feel me, let them know that it'll be better and I'm working towards it because ain't nobody else to help me.
Do you feel like everything that happened, do you feel like politicians, do you feel like the community is paying attention to what's happening to mothers like you?
No. Because if they were, I wouldn't have to keep going back and forth fighting social service just to give me a $600 grant to move. And if they were, they wouldn't put you through so much. If they know you in the area, right, they wouldn't put you through so much just to get anything from them right about now because they know that the area is in distress. Even though it was the 27th, you feel me, the area is still in distress. It's still a lot going on. And so people like really open their eyes and see that the dark shadow over this area is not gone. I mean, it'll never change. And you can ignore, if you're walking straight and you ignore the pole, you still gonna what? You still gonna smack it. So as long as you blind, you still gonna bump. You still gonna bump into stuff. Like until people really open their eyes and really make a way, not a loophole, but a way, it's always gonna be like this.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time doing this interview with us. Is there anything else you want to say? Thank you so much.